And today's 365 Mrs. Sit to Show, we're going to take a look at these multicolored, lots and lots of different labels within Planner. We have a new, was it video only meeting stage experience? We'll dive deeper into that. And there's some stuff about forms that kind of helps us to make better use of them. Let's roll that intro.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, Daryl, I'm excited about the forums announcement. I will be covering that one. It has got me terribly excited. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 184 of the 365 Message Center show. Hello, Daryl.
Hey,
Fabulous
hey,
intro you did there.
well, thank you. And look, please do not spend too much time on that forms announcement, that forms
No,
message.
I need it. It's going to be about
You
10
want
minutes.
it? You
And
want a deep
listen,
dive on it?
people are like, what in the world's going on? You will see or hear depending on. Um let's start the top of the show though with talking about talkback. Is that okay
Hmm,
if we kind of
definitely.
so this
Yeah,
past week we started a what we temporarily that may become permanently be called the Talkback Show on Clubhouse, which is a new app, right, Daryl? Do you want to tell the audience what the Clubhouse is and what we did just briefly, and how we engaged there?
sure. Today it is an app on iOS. It will be available on Android. And the goal with Clubhouse is it's about having an audio conversation with as many people who want to join. But you can manage your audience. So think of it as in this club, you can have three or four speakers. They've got the right to talk and discuss things, and you can raise your hand and say, hey, I'd like to contribute to this conversation. And the people facilitating the clubhouse will elevate you to be able to ask a question or make a comment and join the conversation. It's quite amazing how it's caught on, and that it's filling a gap that allows people to be more interactive with the audio side of a topic or a discussion.
Yeah, and we actually kind of had a great discussion. We kind of had two topics that we brought up that we're actually going to discuss in this episode, but we brought those up and people came on stage as the way some say on Clubhouse. We brought them up and they could talk and they asked questions and gave feedback, whatever, and it was a great conversation. So we are
Hmm.
going to plan another one. We're going to have that this week, and we're going to plan on doing that around the end of the day on Thursday evening, work day, Thursday evening, which is Friday lunchtime for you, Daryl, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And so it is invite only. The app is. So if you don't have an invite, then you could probably hit us up on Twitter. If we have one, and we can throw one out. But this is just be looking out on Twitter and Facebook and whatever on the 365 Message Center show. We will put out the schedule, and you can download. Actually, you can put it on your calendar and join us. We'd love to have you there. And it's
Hmm.
more interactive than this is, right? We can have people in the
Yeah.
chat room on YouTube. But it's more interactive. People ask questions. We can get, and it actually helped for this week, for me. In fact, for this first topic that we're going to bring up, it,
Yeah.
it definitely helped me kind of understand it a little bit, and get more perspective. So, it actually was pretty darn useful. So I'd like to jump in it if that's okay.
Go ahead.
This message is add up to 25 task labels and colors in Planner and task in Teams. MC 241349. This is rolling out late February to early March. And really, they're touting this as something that gives better flexibility for you in Planner and task and teams, to categorize your content, to flag it, to really give give that clarity to people in multiple buckets, basically using these labels and colors. And originally, when I started thinking about it and having a conversation with Daryl, it's like, that's got a lot of colors and a lot of labels. What is going, do people really need this? That many? I was thinking a dozen. Okay, I can kind of see that, but 25, that seems a lot. So we talked about it on the Talkback show on Clubhouse this past week. And we just said, hey, anybody, what do you think about this? And fellow Microsoft MVP and regarding 365 author, Joanne Klein, who often is in the chat room as well, it came on stage and mentioned that, she has seen a need in her clients for more labels and actually, welcomes this change. And so from the things she said, I was like, wow, okay. I am 100% perfectly willing to admit when I'm wrong. Maybe this is something that's a welcome change, and it sounded like for her and her clients, it will be. What do you think, Daryl? 25.
Yeah, 25. Like you, my initial reaction was, wow, that is a lot. And when I was thinking about the different colors across the spectrum, 25, you quickly get into a space where some colors look very similar. So I had wondered, what are these labels going to look like? But knowing what Planner can do, and that there's various different ways to organize content and tasks. Buckets are the common way to do this. Of course, assigning content to people. You can change the views, but it's labels and their colors that transcend across all of those different ways of organizing content. And so with 25 of them, you've got more options to filter things down into certain different priorities. Maybe you want to have 5 or 6 of them instead of just high, low, and medium.
Well, Daryl, I think that's the important part. Is I was looking at this going, why would I want to have 25 labels on a single item in Planner? And that's not the point. The point is having 25 options.
Yes.
Right? And so in colors. So that's that. And actually hearing, there are people, and a lot of people, it seems, that would be welcoming this change. So here it comes. Late February is when it starts, early March finalizing. So it may be something that you already have. So check that out. The next topic we have, Daryl, is our headline for this week. So this is the new video only meeting stage. Sir, take it away.
Yeah, this was another topic that we put to the Clubhouse as well. It was interesting to see it land in the community. This is message MC 241581. And just to explain what this is to start with, your meeting stage, when you join a meeting and you are sharing content or you have your video turned on, the stage is what you will see, or where you will see the video gallery when people have their video turned on, or when someone's presenting, you'll see that content there. That's the stage. Now, people join a online meeting. Sometimes they turn their video on. Sometimes they join without their video and they just join audio. And this feature, it was put into production and into action without the message. That was the first thing they called out was, oops, we're sorry, we didn't tell you about this. It's there now, but we thought we'd tell you a bit more about it. It is going to favor, or it is today, favoring people who have their video turned on. They will be within the stage. And so if you have joined audio only, you're not going to see your initials or your picture, your profile picture, sitting there as a tile echoing every time you speak. As an audio-only participant, you'll be bumped down to that lower level underneath the video gallery. And even if you're an active speaker, you will still remain there. Daniel's showing just a couple of screenshots from the message. So for those in the podcast, it does show a video gallery, and there is no one there who has their initials appearing. But one thing that is a bit different or not quite correct about this is we don't see the bottom gallery view where people might be down at the bottom who are audio only participants. And that's the key thing, that you'll be bumped down there. Now, one of my first reactions, and I'll ask you about this soon too, Daniel, is I still found it useful that even if someone was an audio only participant, at least if they were on the stage and they were the active speaker, I could see who was speaking. I could see the little echo behind their profile photo or their initials. I could tell that was the active speaker. And we're not going to get that anymore. They're going to be down there at that lower bar, and it's going to be less of a hint. What did you think about that?
Yeah, and I think that's what really came up in our talkback conversation around this topic was we're not going to be able to tell who's speaking very clearly. Before, you're exactly right. Their initials would be there, and they would have that little echo circle around them, and it would, you could see who it was. I think it's going to be more difficult to see who's speaking if they don't have their video on, and you have 9 other people, with the video there. I just don't. And it happens often. It happened this past week where people were talking, and I was having to, who is that's saying that? So it is something that I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest. We'll see how adoption runs and see if, they tweak it a little bit, but I just don't like the not knowing who's speaking, even if it's just initials, right? That was kind of my point there. So
yeah, exactly. This is the thing that meetings have become so important. They're even more so a daily part of our lives, and anything that makes it easier for us to direct our attention to people is good. If this is just an aesthetic play to try and make the stage look better and have people there for video, even if they're muted, that's nice, but I would rather know who is speaking, and I'm sure there are plenty of others that would feel the same. There's another thought I have too around spotlight, and we spotlight a person who is an active speaker if their video's on. I think we could spotlight a person even if they didn't have their video turned on. I wonder how that behaves now.
Yeah, and the other thing I was thinking was, how will this affect people with their video? If you have 9 people in a meeting with their video on, and then there's others that don't, but I'm always, that's just me. I'm always on the screen, even though I'm not speaking and I don't even intend to speak. I'm probably going to turn my video off then, right? Because I don't want to be on that stage the whole time. Put the people who are speaking. So it is something that I think it could possibly have a negative effect on the collaboration and the engagement of the people in meetings, just because I do find value in that video. I do find value in seeing people's reactions, and I find value in seeing people's backgrounds and seeing their, what's going on in their house. I mean, just getting their personality and understanding them. I think it's very valuable, but if I'm always going to be on the screen, even though I'm not speaking, so not a huge fan of that one.
In terms of timing, you've got it right now, and we'd be interested to hear your thoughts about this change too, and whether you would like some change back in the other direction. Daniel, let's hear about this forms update. And remember, I've given you a sort of a limit that you can't go on this one for too long.
Yes, Microsoft Forms increased form limits, MC 241750. This Microsoft Forms currently limits users and groups depending on how it's tied, to 200 forms and quizzes. So you can only have 200 of those. And you can also have 200 polls. Well, this is talking about you're going to have an increase, a doubling of those. You're going to be able to do 400 forms / quizzes and 400 polls. The change is another one here. It's already been rolled out to first release customers. Thanks for the notification forms. The change is rolling out to everyone mid-March. So here in just a couple of weeks through the end of March. I like this. How will this affect your organization? It says you may want to let your users know. That doesn't tell me anything about how it's going to affect my organization. And then what do you need to do to prepare? Update internal documentation. Do you have internal documentation that tells people how many forms they can create, Daryl?
No, look, I'll be a little cheeky here. I leverage the support or support.microsoft.com articles via Learning Pathways. So if Microsoft keeps it up to date, then I'm up to date. I wonder if, I haven't looked on this one, but I wonder if they have updated the support article.
I do not know. I have not looked. So that would be interesting. Now, we'd like to do some quick mentions now, right, Daryl? So how about what's going on with Meeting Recap? I haven't seen it. We were promised it. I haven't seen it. So tell us. Yeah.
Well, if you remember, everyone, Meeting Recap, it was mentioned in the last Ignite in September. Goal here is that it is to let people find the meeting recording easily, the transcript for the meeting, and it's all there together in the chat. And this is something, I think it's available too also for people who are just joining the meeting from outside of your organization. So it's still all there. This has been delayed. It was supposed to be rolled out. Where are we here? Was previously going to be rolled out by the end of January, and now it's going to begin to roll out early March, and it will be complete early April. It's going to make it easy for us to find all of those kinds of assets and the chat, the recording, the transcript. But perhaps this is also tied in somewhere with the updates we've seen recently to where the recordings are being stored in OneDrive or in SharePoint.
Yeah. We talked about this, love the idea, bringing all those collateral together, because meetings are now more than just an agenda. They used to be just an agenda, right? You get together in a conference room and talk. Now we have recordings and notes, and we can get transcripts and PowerPoint and all that right there in the recap. So that's great. It's just been delayed. And I don't know how you, and we didn't really talk about this, but I don't know how you feel about these delays that are not really being communicated until they are getting updated. Meaning we don't know they've been delayed until the message shows up saying, oh, we delayed this, and sorry about that, but here's the update. Here's when it's going to be. I just feel like, as soon as you know it's delayed, it would be really nice to tell us, because I'm sure those in the chat will say, because we've heard it, hey, we've been waiting around. When are we going to get this? It just makes it even worse. Because that feeling of, when is it going to hit my tenant? Well, they can't tell you exactly. Well, now, not only can they not tell you exactly, they're not delivering it, period, in the time frame that they said they would. And so if you went back and looked, meeting recordings or meeting recap, let me go find it. Oh, well, it says it should have already been rolled out. What? Where's it at? And then we get told, a few weeks later, oh, by the way, we didn't do that. So it just makes it a little more difficult, I think, for those change agents to really help with people in the organization.
I've heard the other comment too, that it's great that Microsoft's announcing a number of these different features and updates, but it's almost like they're queuing them up, and then there's a lot of bumping in terms of delivery dates, and so it's putting it out there. Look, I think we'd rather know what the change is so that we can start planning and thinking about it and digesting. And good to know when they can't deliver it at the time that they said they would. But yes, if they can do that a little bit sooner,
Well,
that'd be
we've
great.
had these conversations with Mike and the team before, and they always ask us, which would you prefer? Would you prefer to know about the announcement, know about the change in advance more enough to where you can prepare, but we don't give you a whole lot of detail, or give you all the detail, but you don't have as much time to prepare?
Mm,
And so there's a balance there. But I think what I'm saying with this is after you've already announced it and given all the detail, and you know you're going to slip. Like you're not going to you're not going to start rolling it out when you say, or you run into bumps along the way. You need to immediately tell us so that we're not sitting
mm.
around people going, "Hey, I need that meeting recap thing." Yes, that would have been great. I'm planning on doing it because I got a big meeting in February. It's supposed to be done in January. I'm going to have it. And it never happened, right? It's going to be delayed. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's just let us know a little bit more. I think more and more people are paying attention to this, paying attention to these messages and the timings, and
Which is great.
yeah, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Well, tell us about this next one, Daniel. Some changes around OneDrive.
OneDrive for Business announce 250 gigabyte upload capability, MC241870. If you have ever run into this problem where you have a very large file, you know that the upload limit right now is 100 gigabyte per file. So if you have a file that's 101 gigabytes or even 100.5, you can't upload it to OneDrive in SharePoint. Well, with this change, which is actually available now, we got no warning on this one, although I'm not sure how much warning we needed. But now we're able to do 250 gig files up to OneDrive and SharePoint. SharePoint with a little p. So not entirely sure what that is, but anyway, the message has a small case p, not a large. Anyway, so it's pretty simple. It is able to upload those files. You do need to pay attention to your bandwidth and location and network traffic and all that. May have some dependency on that, whether or not that file can get uploaded quickly or not. It feels like this is the Clubhouse episode, but because we're mentioning it so much. But I was on the SharePoint and OneDrive team. Some of them are having a regular Clubhouse meeting where they just kind of get on there and they talk about whatever the latest SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams things I think come up to what is the latest this week, and then they answer questions. And this came up and I said, I got a question, and I asked, is this a real thing? Is there really a need for this? For people to have 250 gig files to be uploaded to OneDrive? Is that really a thing? And I mean, it's great and all to make more flexibility, but is it something? And to something that you had said to me privately before, and well, not privately, it's just off air, was that, well, there's not that much more of a limit to the size of the site collection anyway. So you upload 4 of these files and you're done. So is it really a need? And the answer that was given by a couple of the OneDrive team members, engineering team, and was that, as we're getting more and more people doing video processing, sharing externally with those that may be producing their videos and such, hitting, and it's not that 250 really, there's that previous 100 gig. It's once you get to that 120 gig file, for instance, well, you couldn't upload it to OneDrive. So you would go to some other service and upload it to share it out. So, they're increasing it to allow that flexibility, drawing files like AutoCAD and such like that. So, and one thing they said was they can see the telemetry, seeing files sitting there in the sync folder where OneDrive is. that can't upload because they're over 100 gig. And so they see the telemetry that there are files like that. So they said, yeah, it is a thing. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'll take your word for it. What do you think, Daryl? What do you think about files that large and organizations? Do you think it's a one-off thing, or not a one-off thing, but do you think it's a regular thing, or do you think it's more of a every once in a while maybe happening? I don't know.
Of that size, like I do work with video files, and I don't often get to that size to try and share that. In fact, my preference would be, if I was going that large, that I would use a specialist tool for that. There are tools out there that you can use for reviewing videos and upload it and get all sorts of comments that you can add at certain points in the video, and a far better tool. But I guess if you don't have access to that and you're wanting to use what you have, then OneDrive's the way to go. So 250 gigs, nice to know.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't have 4 of them that you have to share with the client and send them up. What I do find interesting, and maybe we don't really need to clarify this so much, but when they said that they have telemetry, that they can see there are files that are waiting that have hit that limit and can't be synchronized, I would say that a telemetry is only saying there is a file and it is at that limit. It's not going to give them telemetry on what the name of the file is, the inside of the file.
Exactly. It was just, I think it's more of, across the spectrum, we can see that there's, 5,000 files right now at this point that are over the 100 gig limit that are waiting to be uploaded. Now, and this was supposed to be a quick mention, which we've turned it into, it's not, but sorry about that. But it could also be something like a known folder move, something you have mentioned before, Daryl, that, that it may be something that people don't really want or desire to upload, that maybe they just saved it on their desktop, in Windows. And now that they've done known folder move, all of that stuff is syncing to OneDrive, and they didn't really think, I need OneDrive to sync this 150 gig file. But anyway, for whatever the reason, you now have the ability to do 250 gig. You just can't do it too many times. All right. The last quick mention, which is another OneDrive one, but it won't be that long as we just took, right?
Yeah, keeping this one quick. First, delete dialog alert for OneDrive files, MC241752. It does deserve an explanation if you haven't read the message. When you go to delete a file from OneDrive sync clients on either Windows or Mac, it will now display a message to you to say, hey, when you're deleting this file, it is going to be deleted from everywhere. Are you sure you want to do that? And it also includes some information there about if you are going to delete it, then you can restore it from the OneDrive recycle bin. So it is a bit of user education, and it'll pop up when you go to delete that file from the OneDrive sync client for the first time. There is a tick box there to say, I don't want to know about this message each time I do this. So you can tick that and you won't hear from it again. And there's also something there for admins that they can turn the message off so that people won't see it at all. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Maybe there's some good valid reasons, but that's about it. It's just letting you know that there'll be that message and how to deal with it, and the user education around use that OneDrive recycle bin to restore the file. I kind of chuckle at the image within the message though, Daniel. If you take a closer look, the documents that have been deleted are foo.doc and bar.doc, not docx, so they're old documents.
Right.
And there's a 1 day I guess retention within the OneDrive recycle bin.
Yes.
You've got 1 day, otherwise it's gone, it's toast.
That's not in everyone's tenant. That's this screenshot. No. And so I thought that was foo and then bar. Yes.
Some engineers been having tweaking their environments and
little cheeky. And then the only other thing, is about this is I don't know. Is everyone going to get this the first time they delete something after this update? Because it says the first delete. Well, I've deleted stuff from OneDrive before. So is everyone going to? We don't know the answer to that, I don't think. Because the way I read this initially was new users, that get this up, they have this new version, or in the future, new users who first delete a document. But it could be that we all see this the first time. I'm not
I
sure.
think we all see it.
Yeah, I think
we all see it, but it's an assumption.
It is an assumption. Yeah.
What's our callback this week, Daniel? So remember, this section, people, is about going back to a message where something has actually landed. Funny thing, probably half of our messages this week have actually landed. Yeah. We didn't get a chance to call them back.
Really?
Yeah,
Darren?
Well, I'm laughing.
Is it funny? Are you laughing because it's hilarious, or are you laughing because it's being cynical? I don't know. But this is
cynical.
Add Microsoft Teams to your SharePoint team site, MC227312. And really, this was something that, we talked about last, I guess it was November. And this was really just letting us know that the timeline has been updated and it's rolling out. Targeted release, you should already have it. Standard release is early January through mid-March. So everyone should have it in a couple weeks, And really, this is about when you go and you create a site, a SharePoint team site, you have this nice box at the bottom, and I'm really liking these view image and new tab links in these messages. So I'm going to click this and not do that button, but do this button. And so for those in the video, you have the little box that's in the bottom left of your site that pops up and says, add real-time chat. And it basically says, add Microsoft Teams, create a team for this site is what Teamify it. And wow. So when you do that though now, and this happened to me last week, so production tenant, you click on it, it doesn't go, okay, it used to just say, I'm creating it, good job, jolly-o. That was a terrible impersonation. It now says, okay, do you want to pin any of these items in SharePoint to a tab in the general channel of your new team? So you can pin the home page. So, it'll bring that up. You can pin the document library that may be in there. So you may have several document libraries, a news item, or so you can check several of those and add it to Teams, and it'll go. So you can do pages, lists, and document libraries. So that's fantastic. It is out there now. And your users, if you haven't, updated your users on how to use this, make sure you do update them. What do you think, Daryl? I mean, it really is just pinning stuff to the general channel, and it's just making it easier, right? It's not doing anything fancier other than just doing it at creation time.
Yeah, it's not going to be something that we'll see happen often, but if you're taking a team site, which is the whole goal of it was to facilitate collaboration, and you've been planning for a while to add teams to it so that you can have conversations and meetings and all that other stuff that you can add to it, then this feature helps to pin some of those familiar and frequent things about that team site so that you can already find it within that team that's created. As you said, Daniel, it pins it to the general channel because that's the only channel that exists as you're creating the team right there and then. You might want to shift it around as you start to build out this new team and create different channels. But I think even though it's not going to be used too frequently, it is going to help adoption for people who will see those familiar elements and go, oh, I recognize that document library. I recognize that page. This feels familiar to me. Yeah,
I 100% agree. Well, that is our show. I do want to remind everybody about the Clubhouse we're going to schedule. So hit us up on Twitter if you don't have an invite, and maybe if we have any left, we can give you one. That'll be Thursday, end of day for me in the U.S. Time frame. I think 5 p.m. Central is around about what we're going to do. And then about noon Friday lunchtime for Daryl in Auckland, New Zealand. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Yep, and there is Microsoft Ignite happening this week coming up. It is, look, the sessions are live. We will attend as many as we can in between what we do for work.
Yeah.
We may start a Clubhouse. Daniel and I also have access to a Twitter feature, which is very similar, called Spaces. And we might start one or two of those up just to have a bit of a discussion with people about sessions that they've attended. And we'll just, start talking as a community about the reactions and thoughts and learn from each other.
Yeah, so make sure you follow us on Twitter, right? Our handles are right there across the bottom. And if you're doing on the audio, it's Daniel Glenn and Daryl AAS. But also follow 365 MCS on Twitter. We know there are far more, I can see the numbers, there are far more people that watch this video and listen to the podcast than are following us on Twitter and following us on LinkedIn. So please go out there and follow us, and we'll make sure that account retweets the information about joining those spaces, and as well as Clubhouse. So yeah, I totally forgot about Ignite coming up. How did I do that? I don't know. But thank you for calling that out. Make sure you register for Ignite. You'll have access to all those sessions at the end and be able to watch those afterwards as well. So make sure you register and take in content from people like Daryl and others that are going to be producing some great content and great collaboration with table talks and all that. So make sure you do that. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We'll catch you this week for our talks about Ignite and about the talkback. So we'll see you around. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.